Hello.
We're back in the right place.
I won't yell.
I mean,
We won't start this episode, even though I want to.
right?
How exciting.
This is like not a yelling episode. This is an excitement episode. An episode
If
of
this
excite.
could be in all caps, it would be in all caps.
It would be an all caps.
This is an all
discussion.
caps episode.
In a good way, not in like a mean, angry way.
I don't know that I've ever used all caps for mean and angry.
But it's yelling.
But I also don't get mean and angry too much.
I don't get.
If you don't get a response from me, that's how you know.
It's because the
I'm
the
not
silence is
yelling.
deafening. That's what it is. It's the silence for you that's deafening. Understood. 10-4 on that one.
Oh,
Jeez.
that's a side tangent.
Right? But we are together again because we just got finished with something very special.
Very first.
Very first ever.
And we had our book retreat.
We had our retreat in person with real humans at a place that we chose and, designed the agenda and all of the things, and we just got back.
Yes, and it was fantastic. We met strangers on the internet.
Strangers from the internet, yes.
Strangers from the internet came out.
Strangers from the internet met us.
Yeah. And I'd say we're friends. Friends, not strangers.
Friends, not strangers. I will say
So good.
that one of our new friends did say 1,000 out of 10 would do again.
Yes.
And if that's not high praise,
We love that.
I was like, you know what? That feels good.
That was also said in public.
It was.
It was not just said to us.
Right? Somebody
that
wrote
we're
it down.
Yeah.
They
I'm
wrote
like,
it down somewhere.
Screenshot for the receipts.
I honestly did, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
We
here.
will use this later.
Right.
Yes. And all the ladies gave us great feedback. We were very excited. So to those who attended and are watching this, thank you. We appreciate it. It just, let us know we're on the right path to doing what we want to do, and that what we envisioned was fantastic.
It was received, and for me, and I think I can speak for both of us in this was dream come true stuff for us to be able to take the love of what we do here and bring it into reality in a way that included other people, right?
Yes.
And that set up and held space for something that was exactly what we envisioned.
Yes. I think that was it, that it translated.
It did.
In chatting with everybody on the last night, it sounded, without giving them too much information of what we were going for,
Right.
like they reiterated what they liked. Nobody really said anything that they didn't like.
No. They asked for more of some of the things
Yeah,
that they
a
liked.
little
But
bit
I was like,
more.
I'm cool with that.
We can do more.
More days, yes. More space for reading time. Awesome.
Yes.
More, some of the special stuff that we did. We actually included a massage.
Yeah.
So everybody who attended got a 30-minute massage. And they're like, we'd love to do more of that. Totally in.
We can do that.
So
yes.
it was nice to partner with local people to be able to do that.
Yes, it was not us.
No, these hands don't do that very well. So
No.
I read great. I can flip pages in a book, awesome. But I don't think you want me working out the knots in your back.
Yeah. No, thank you.
No, that doesn't sound something I would be good at. But it was so cool to have the thing that we always wanted, which is just uninterrupted reading time.
Yeah.
Right? A space where you could go and not have to worry about anything. And it was in a beautiful location. And you had the ability to read
Very
whatever you
relaxing.
want or something new.
Yeah. We had options, reading options for everyone. There was so much space in the house that people could kind of go off. We also had space outside by the lake. Like there was just, I think it was more than we even thought that we were signing up for.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, look
We
at all
even got
this
to read.
space. Yeah.
Which I thought was cool.
read.
Like I was like, I got to read.
It was very cool. And we left it open so that people could read. They could wander off, they could read, they could hang out, they could sit in the quiet, meditate, whatever they wanted to do. But we came together for meals, and it seems like we all came together very naturally.
Yeah.
To chit chat around meals. When people had been reading for a few hours, we kind of all got together, and we all kind of ended up in the same space. And
We did. And we had, I feel like just having the go it yourself. Like we've got stuff for breakfast. We've got stuff for lunch. So grab it when you're hungry, right? We're not going to sit there and like ring a bell and be like, time for lunch. There's no like, calling the kids out from the pasture to come in. It was more of like a, hey, do those things. But then we tended to gather around charcuterie and wine. And then we tended to gather around dinner. And then we tended to gather afterwards for a little bit of discussion or hang out or by the fire. Or there were just things that naturally led themselves into that community space, which I thought was cool. And to listen, that we had so many people who read different things.
And the conversations.
Yeah.
So that was very well rounded, because it was like we could talk about books that we had read, books that we liked, get ideas from other people. Not everybody had read the same books, and to be able to chit chat across different authors, different genres, take home like a whole nother list of books.
Yeah. My list is definitely grown, where I was like, to the point that today I was like, I need to like run to the store. I have a couple things I need to buy. Not that I don't have things I want to read.
Right.
But still
like,
was like,
these
I
are
need
fresh.
I need these now.
Fresh
like,
excitement.
Yes. This is fresh new things that I was like, oh, it's I need to get some new things to add to my shelf.
That sounds like the next one I need. Yeah.
Right.
And to be able to connect with people who do read different genres.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, and this is a conversation we had while we were there, but I feel like when you don't know, like if you're used to eating the same foods all the time, you're not really going to expand and try another one, because you don't know. No. You don't know anything about it. You're just going blindly into it. But if someone can recommend like a really good thriller that they read and you're like, that sounds really good. I had never considered reading a thriller. But now you've got somebody that's like vouching for it and giving you a couple of ideas. You're like... Right. Okay, I could do this.
I could maybe jump into this. And the fact that they are able to sit there and say, oh, I liked this book because it was a lot like this book. The thing that we talk about all the time. If this, then if you liked this, then do that. That sort of thing. But I don't feel like it was something that wasn't a natural conversation. I feel like it just led itself into, oh, and then here we talk about this and we talk about this. And there are some people who kind of bridge that gap between those who read horror and those who read historical fiction and those who read suspense and those who read romance. And like there was so much different in there.
Yes. I think that was a little intimidating, because when we were first looking at, we sent out a little survey so we could get to know our people that were coming, and food preferences and book preferences, and we like to be prepared. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but we like to be prepared. But like seeing the genres of books that they were reading, I was like, I don't know anything about several of these genres, and I will say I was a little surprised that nobody else said fantasy, because I was like, fantasy is what I know.
Right? And I think that's ours, right?
Yeah.
So we are very much into the fantasy, the romantasy, like that whole thing. But everybody else was like, no, we like,
historical fiction.
Yeah, historical fiction, literary fiction. Horror, nonfiction.
Yeah.
But not even like self-help nonfiction, just like nonfiction.
Just nonfiction.
And I was like, what is like, I know what nonfiction is. Right. I know that I read I'll read biographies. We had somebody else who read biographies. Like it was just very interesting to see. And as they were talking, as the one woman was explaining the nonfiction too, she's like, oh, these are the things I like. I was like, that sounds like something I would love.
Yes.
And so it just opened my eyes to a whole new, like, oh, maybe.
Yeah. It's maybe stuff you would never consider.
Yeah. It didn't feel so much like a textbook.
It's not as scary too. Right? You're like, oh, wait, I could toe dip. I don't have to, when you feel like you're going it alone. I think that was the beautiful thing, to be able to have all the conversations that we had, and just to realize we're so much alike.
Yeah.
Even though we're very different, but so much alike.
Yeah. And it was very nice to be able to see people to do that ebb and flow, where if they were like, hey, there was a conversation going on, they were like, oh, I'm ready for a little bit more reading, or I'd like to go lay down for a few minutes, or dinner was, we had a big dinner and now I'm like a little tired, so I'm going to go take a little nap and then I'll be back for fireside chat. Like that was very cool to have provided, or at least been able to provide a space that felt comfortable, that they could do that.
Yes.
Where they didn't feel like, oh, I have to be present. You don't have to be present. This is your
time. Yes. So should we lay out a little bit of what we did?
Sure.
Yeah. So everybody showed up.
About midday.
Yeah. We did a little welcome charcuterie.
Naturally.
Had a champagne toast when everybody got there. I think that that afternoon was a lot of visiting, a lot of like getting to know our retreat buddies.
Yeah.
And hanging out, chit-chatting, kind of setting the tone for what we were going to do, giving the lay of the land. I don't know.
And even layout of like, hey, where are we staying? Like, here are the places we're allowed to go. Here are the things that, the house said we were. And
here's
we're
the
not allowed
house
to do.
rules.
Right? The house rules for things. And
Yes.
just what they could kind of expect. So everything was in front of them, and then they could kind of design their weekend their way.
Make their choices. Yes, yes. Had some dinner, had some good conversation. Everybody got used to each other, kind of, on a deeper level too. I feel like it got deeper quicker.
Well, because when you're talking about something that everybody has a vested interest in, which is the reading, right? The things that you like to read. I feel like as much as it's not a huge statement on personality, the books that you choose to read are really personal.
Yeah.
And so when you get into that and they say, oh, well, why do you like to read that book? It wasn't just like, what's your favorite book? It was more of what's your favorite subject and what are some of the books that you've read in that, in that genre. And then we got to what is your favorite book at later in the night.
Yeah.
And I remember there were some that were like, oh, I remember that book, or, oh, I've never read that one. We were pulling out phones and taking notes. And
yes.
all of it. I feel like that whole first day was kind of like that.
That's kind of what it was. Yeah. Feeling each other out, getting to know who we were going to be spending the weekend with, what they were going to be reading. It was great catch up time. And then I think it was a late night. I think we were chit chatting until late.
Yeah,
it was
in the
great.
evening.
Yeah, in the wee hours of the evening. Friday.
That was Friday.
That was Friday.
Yep.
Oh, days.
That was Friday. First day was Friday with this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Saturday morning we woke up. Everybody just kind of came up. Like there was no set time. We had breakfast on the bar.
Yep, coffee, tea,
fruit, berries, granola.
Yeah, a light
Bagels.
fare, right?
Love a good bagel.
Meat, all right, a bagel and a book and a bagel.
Book and a bagel.
Oh, I feel like that needs to be a brick and mortar place. Somebody do that. I'll go there.
Books and bagels.
Books and bagels. Books and bags.
Books
and bags.
Books and bags. That seems very East Coast. Sounds very East Coast.
It really does sound very East Coast. I might need to trademark that one. We'll see.
For now, this is ours. Thank you.
Exactly. But we did do the breakfast piece was out for whenever anybody wanted to get up, and people didn't feel like they had to. Like some people are early risers, some people wanted to just chill in their room for a while.
Yeah.
And they had the space to do that. And you come down and do the breakfast thing, and we had our masseuse show up. And she came in and set up and got started. So everybody had during their reading time, they kind of had a time where they knew hey, my massage is at 11:45 or whatever. We didn't start anything super early because we were like, hey,
nope,
people be reading
do
and
what
sleeping.
You need to do. Yep. No rush. You don't have to wake up. There's no reason to set an alarm.
No.
This is a casual weekend. Yeah, we went through massages. Everybody got a massage. Then kind of had a little bit of quiet time, just because of the massage. We were very cognizant of where she was in the house. And I think people, oh my God, but the weather. So most people were outside because the weather was amazing.
It was gorgeous. It was bright. It was it was a perfect lake day for people who have lake things and do boats and jet skis and all that kind of thing. And it was a perfect lake day, but being just at the house was calm. You've got the birds and you've got a little you didn't even have cicada sound, right?
No.
I'm not a cicada sound fan.
No.
But it was very much just birds and water and breeze, and so you could be anywhere.
Yeah, you can catch a glimpse of it on our socials.
You can.
We had a lovely video that kind of gives you a little taste of what it was like. But porches everywhere, people were had so many places to be where you could congregate or not if you wanted to be by yourself. So that was fabulous. People did that. After massages, we did lunch. We started lunch and everybody kind of came back. People tend to get hungry about the same time,
which is nice,
which is great. So then
creatures
we did
of
that.
habit.
Yeah,
all of us.
Yes. So we did our lunch, and then the weather was just fantastic. So we all just gravitated outside again. It was fantastic. But how many books? People read whole books, 2 books.
Yeah.
Like there was just so much space to be able to read.
Yeah, I wish we had like taken like not because it was a race. I would just have loved to know the number of pages people read.
Yeah.
Because I know one person was like, "Oh, I got like 200 pages of reading in or whatever," and somebody else was like, "Oh, I finished a book and read a whole nother book, and I
Yes.
finished it like I read a whole book. It was
Yeah.
a shorter book, but I read a whole book that I got to add to my list and started a
Yes.
second one. So I mean,
I'm about 60% through with mine.
that you started there.
It was great. I will tell you,
Yeah.
I had a lot of quiet time, like that I wasn't reading, but just enjoying, like enjoying the nature sounds. Wild.
Yeah, because it's stuff that we don't usually take advantage of, or it
Yes.
doesn't. It's a little bit different when you're a little bit of ways away from
Yeah.
everything else. And it's not that there weren't other people around. There were other people. There were other houses and things, but it was so understood that it was just a quiet place to be.
And the responsibilities of life, like,
No
ended
need.
at the driveway.
Right?
Like at the beginning of the driveway. It was a
Right.
very long
It
driveway.
was a very long driveway, but it was also nice. So we did, after we had a little bit of outside time, we did, when people started coming, like, oh, I'm getting a little, like, I would love a snack. Cool. Charcuterie time.
Yep.
Round 2.
Charcuterie
So-
and starting wine.
Yep. So we did charcuterie and wine, and then people kind of gravitated back outside because it was gorgeous for chat at that point. Because I mean, you're
Yes.
going to chat over charcuterie.
Yes.
So there was a lot of chat. There was some, of course, more reading, and then we actually bumped into dinner. So we had to call people inside for
We're
dinner.
like, hey,
Right? We're like, hey, come
it's
eat.
time.
Yeah.
Come grab a plate. Yeah, because people were just hanging out. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And then I think we did more chat, and we started a fire.
We did a fire.
So we had a little fire and did
Yes.
some reading by the fire and chatting by the fire.
Yep. And then when the sun went down, it just turned into chatting by the fire.
Yep.
Because it was like the weather was still fantastic.
Yeah.
We had nowhere else to be. We brought wine out to the fire. And,
We did.
we just thoroughly enjoyed our time.
Yeah, but I feel like it wasn't as much as it's a read between the wines retreat. The focus was more on the read than the wine, which I thought was really cool because it was just
Yeah.
kind of like part of the ambiance, not a necessity. And so for people who do enjoy partaking in a little bit more, they could choose to do that. And those who are like, hey, I'd just like a glass here or just like a glass there, there was no pressure to have to drink or do anything, which I
Yeah.
thought was really nice. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's a safe thing, right? Where you feel like
Yes.
you can just, there's no pressure to partake in anything that you don't want to, knowing that there
No.
will be, wine there. But it's also like, there's also
We have
LaCroix and water.
we have other non-alcoholic choices. And I think that was true of all of the events. You did not have to partake if you didn't want a massage.
Nope.
You did not have to. Like nothing was forced. And I think that's the beauty of it. I will say the theme. We had a theme.
We did.
We did. It was like reading and relaxing
Yeah.
on our retreat. So it's like, I mean, of course, it just kind of naturally fell into that. I thought it was fantastic.
I thought it was fun. I will tell you one of my favorite things that we had, apart from all of the read time, is something we had talked about a little bit earlier.
Yes.
So we had highlighted a small business earlier, Briarwick Candles,
Mm-hmm.
and we actually worked with them to create our own retreat candle. Our custom
scent.
candle. Look at how cute this little guy is, right? I'll put a bigger picture up to you. It's got our logo on it, and it's parchment, white tea, and vineyards is the.
How
I keep calling it the
perfect.
flavor. It's the scent,
It's the flavor.
right? And I have to smell it again. Right.
It was just the flavor of our
Right,
weekend.
it's a cute, like it's a really cute, like
Yeah.
a nice
And that one, we had one and it burned all weekend.
all weekend long. So
We
we had
had
a
it
signature
going.
scent, right,
Yes.
for the retreat itself. And they were like, they're such cute candles. Everybody got one to take home.
We sent one
so-
home with everybody so that when they smell it, they'll be reminded of their weekend retreat. Maybe that could be the one that they light when they're reading too,
Right.
just to instill that sense of calm
Yeah, that little
and
piece.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
a
love-
piece,
it
a
was-
piece of the retreat. I will say it took everything in my body not to get home and light that candle again. I was like,
like,
maybe I could. I was
just-
like, but I'm also not reading right now. I'm doing other things.
I just
So-
need to carry it back with me a
Right.
little longer.
Right.
I think that was the thing on Sunday. People were like, "Oh, this was so great, and now I have to go back
have to
to,
go home."
real life."
Yeah, because they didn't have to think of all those things. They didn't have to plan dinner. They didn't have to plan meals. They didn't have to worry about cleaning up. They didn't have to they didn't have to make their bed. They didn't have to do laundry. There was none of that there. So it really removed all of the everyday and let you just do the fun.
Let you just be,
Right?
be and do what you needed to or wanted to in
Yeah.
that moment.
And I feel like doing that, like that was the real goal of the retreat. To the
Yes.
point that I think we will have repeat retreaters.
Repeat the retreat.
Repeat retreaters, which I think would be
Yes.
super cool because I would love to do another one.
I
right?
yes.
Like I think it would be super fun to do this again and,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
include some other things as well. Maybe a different location, maybe.
Different location. Yeah, I think it gives us a good foundation
Mm-hmm.
to build on. We kind of know what people are expecting. They know what to expect. We're no longer strangers. Now we have actual
Yeah.
people who can recommend
Exactly.
and let them know that we are not scary individuals
No.
in real life.
No, we're good. You're pretty much getting exactly what you see here.
Yeah.
We're just a little taller than what we look like
Than
on this
what you
couch.
see here. We
Right?
have
Like,
legs.
There are legs here. There are legs. I did want to say we also had a donation. That's what it is.
Yes.
A donation. We had reached out earlier as we were planning this to see if there was anybody in the area who had, you know, a local author that had books that they, you know, were willing to work with us on, so that everybody got something fun. And we actually met an author who's right in the area where I live. Her name is E.K. Archer, and she actually has a book which is a cute little novella. It's a Christmas novella, and it's Here Comes Santa Claus, which is super cute. So everybody got their
Super
own
fun. Everybody got
copy. I am saving my copy so that I
For
can
Christmas.
because I
Yes.
read only holiday books. Like the only thing I read in November, December, and into January are holiday books.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start off with this one. But I did hear that somebody else read it and said it was super. Somebody else read it on the retreat.
Yes.
And said it was super cute.
Yes.
So I did want to say thank you to E.K. Archer for allowing us to share this with our retreaters as well.
Yeah.
And the fact that we were able to, you know, put one of those, like they got to choose their own books, but they also got the Kindle and, you know, an extra copy of this one
Something
and, you know,
fun.
a couple
Yes.
other things to make their retreat experience fun.
I think that's really what we enjoyed
Yeah.
was the local aspect because most of the women were pretty fairly local.
Yeah.
They were local to the area, which is great. And then also like bringing together, here's some artists, here's some vendors, here's some local businesses, like supporting all the local things is what we aim to do.
Yeah. And I think it was fun to hear from everybody because we, like you said, we were pretty much local, but there were a couple that were outliers here and there where they lived a little bit farther or had experience because they had grown up in different places. And so being able to hear, oh, hey, there's this really cute little shop that I live over in this place, or
Yes.
usually I go over to this restaurant over here, or that was so cool because you're not just bringing your reading
Right.
likes into the space, but you're also kind of helping others to explore through recommendation
Yeah.
the area around them that maybe
Yeah.
they haven't seen.
Yeah, it was great. Everybody was within local driving distance.
Yep.
We had people who were like, oh, I know where that's at. My family's from
Right,
there. Or like,
right.
we used to go up there all the time. And
Yeah.
so it was very cool then to also be able to connect on different levels from reading books to real life.
Right.
And I love those connections.
And I feel like we were all from different areas, like different like not even locations. I mean, like different walks of life, right?
Yeah,
We all had
yeah.
different experiences, like some with kids, some without kids, some with pets, some without pets, some, you know, different jobs, all of the things. And so it was so cool that you were kind of meeting in the middle over this one shared love of a
Yes.
hobby. Right? Because I don't think
Yes.
any of us are like, as much as I would love to make reading my job, like if it like, please hire me.
If you know, let
Right,
us know.
if you know, I would love to apply for that one, but as much as I would love that, that's not my job. And so being able to connect and even like with partners and spouses and like being able to kind of talk that through, like, oh, well, my partner does this thing and they're in this area and here's what we're doing here. So it was really cool to make those connections across that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
and I think it helped. I think it just helped solidify what we were all doing and that we were all in the right place.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Everybody was lovely.
Agreed. And I don't think we mentioned we did go to Lake Anna,
Yeah.
which is in Virginia.
we
I was
didn't
like,
even
I don't
tell
think I
you.
told you. We just said it was a lake.
Yeah.
We did go to Lake Anna,
Yes.
which was super, especially this time of year, like right before Memorial Day, and like it was still super quiet. People are like getting their boats ready and stuff, and so it was just so peaceful.
It was exactly what we had planned, which is kind of crazy because you do kind of expect things are not going to go the way you anticipate them.
you plan for the unexpected, right? You kind of plan to be like, okay, we can be flexible on things. I don't think that we needed a lot of flexibility because
We were already very flexible.
we had a
but
really good group though.
But like we had a great group. We had a great group. We had a great location. I think it was it was great.
It was, and I think it was nice that they were so honest with us about when we
Yes.
did ask for feedback, where we were
Yes.
like, hey, here are the things that we're thinking over, or here are the things that, you know, we thought were important to include. Like, what would you have rather seen, or what did you think that, you know, worked for you, or did
What didn't work?
right? All of those questions
Yes.
was really nice to hear. that we nailed most of it, right? I think we nailed all of it. I think the only thing we didn't nail is that it needs to be longer.
Yeah.
We need more read time as far as like days,
And
right?
we can
start a day earlier.
happy to accommodate.
Totally happy to accommodate.
Oh
like
my
if
gosh,
somebody
we
wants
can do that.
a couple full days of reading versus like 2 days overall, I'm cool to help build that in for
help
somebody.
facilitate that
Right?
for you.
Let's go ahead and make sure that that's a thing,
Yes.
so that yes, you get your full days of
Yes.
reading your way.
Your full relaxation. Yeah, I do. And I mean, honestly?
I like it. Honestly.
Obviously.
Ooh.
And honestly.
No, honestly is good.
We're going with honestly.
Honestly. Okay.
Honestly, when you submerge yourself.
Oh God. We are going to have
We're
our own
doing it.
Right, we're gonna have our own little like
We'll
thesaurus
need
of
a-
words, like our own little the read between the lines dictionary.
Yes. Here's
It's just gonna get
here's
longer
our
and longer.
slang.
Right in
It's
the
like
in the description. Star.
just in case
Honestly
you needed
means.
this. I don't even remember what I was going with now.
Because we got submersed in honestly.
I got submersed in honestly. Oh, yeah, no. Here we go.
It's
I'm
back.
I feel like any amount of time is going to be too short.
Oh,
Like you're always going to get to the
Fair.
end and go,
Oh.
I wish I had more
now
time.
I have to drive back, right?
But that's a good problem to have.
It is. It just means that you can really appreciate the time that you took
Mm-hmm.
and know that it may be worth building into the future.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I was away on a trip recently that was also like that, where I kind of just it was almost forced, a forced break from my normal activities.
yes.
And so in a good way. And now I'm better notice the things that go on where I'm like, hey, I need to take some time for me. I need to take a little
Yes.
bit of that rest. I need to allow my brain to chill. And that's not me putting off my responsibilities or being lazy or any of those things. It's more of just me honoring the fact that like my brain needs a minute.
Taking you time.
She needs a second.
That's exactly that. And I think that was the theme.
Yeah.
Like, what do you need? What do we neglect in ourselves
yeah.
in day-to-day life? And it was a little bit of self-care. It was a little bit of no rules, no, there's no schedule.
No.
There's no itinerary that we have to stick to. We have nowhere to be. It is just here. And, most people wish they had more time to read because of
Exactly.
other things or, so I think we wanted to really focus on those big aspects that people tend to overlook
Yeah.
or get pushed to the side when things get busy. They're like, oh, I don't need.
I can do that another
This.
time. I don't need to do
Yeah.
it. Oh, well, maybe.
And so we
don't
just
do
made those up front,
that. Yeah. Agreed.
and center.
Agreed.
And it was great.
Yeah. So I
had a fabulous time.
I did too, and I can't wait to do it again. And when we make plans for the again, we'll be sure to share them.
Oh, it's coming in the fall. I'm like, are you not
You're
going
like,
to give
it's
them
happening.
anything?
It's happening.
We've
We have-
already conspired.
Right, and I feel
on
like
the
fall
next
gives
one.
very cozy vibes.
Yes,
Right? I
yes.
feel like this was very self-care, honoring that
Yes.
piece, but I feel like a fall is very like
A little more cozy.
right, a little
Yeah.
cozy, a little
And-
fireplace and apple cider, a little hot chocolate, like those feel good.
Yes, and I love that it's not going to be like a copy and paste
No.
of the other one because like that's just not who we are as people
Right.
anyway.
No.
There's a lot of us to honor and there's other aspects that we can do. And honestly, like you're going to have to get your spots early cuz our first group
Wants to come again.
is going to be coming again and they're
Right.
going to be telling their friends. And
Right.
so I think I love that we can give a different experience
100%.
because there is so much that we wanted to do in this one.
Yeah.
But we also didn't want it to be massively overloaded
Right, with
with
stuff.
things and
Yeah.
stuff and because it is just casual. So I'm very excited to
So
see
excited.
what fall vibes are giving and like fall location and
Somewhere cozy and quiet. But I also think that the retreaters themselves do lend a little bit to it.
Yes.
Because as we send out our surveys and we get a little bit of information about those who join us, we do that helps us to kind of mold what we choose
yes,
based upon who's attending with us.
shaping shaping what we have and what we want to do to best support everyone.
Exactly.
And I think that's great when we get to know people a little bit before we all show up. We don't
Yep.
show up as strangers. We do kind of all get to know each other
A little bit, yeah.
a little bit before. Not like we don't want to be old friends showing up. Like we want to leave a
We want
little mystery.
Exactly. But I mean, just to be able to connect and to have that afterwards so that when we share photos and stuff like that, you have a place to do that. And when, you can text back and forth, or at least be able to connect with the other people if there was somebody that you really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Or, follow-up conversations, because we all have lists
of
books now. And it's like, when I get done reading this book, I'm going to message you.
Right. Because I'm going to tell you what I think.
Because we're going to talk about it.
Right. We're going to talk about it. And I'm probably going to need more recommendations.
And I love that. And that's like really what we wanted.
Agreed.
Building the connections, not just for the weekend, but like broadening our connections.
And making a stronger community because of it. So
yes.
I think that's always been what you and I have been about overall.
Community.
So the retreat was a really nice way to do that.
It was great. And that's why we do what we do.
Right.
And it just helps to bring it into real life.
It does. And now on to the next.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yes.
Let's
so
go fall.
Stay tuned. We have a fall one.
We do. And we'll have details hopefully shortly.
When we know, we'll let you know.
Exactly.
But
you'll know when we know.
Expect one.
Yeah.
Watch the socials for the information.
It'll go out on Instagram and Threads first.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah. I feel like I kind of want to leak information as we get it. Not that I have any to leak now.
I was like, do you have information?
The fall, like, you
right?
know.
But as we do things, we'll put teasers out and stuff like that so that you can get ready.
So, and you can start preparing yourself and figuring if it's going to be in your location, if it's a good weekend that works for you.
Yeah.
Like, we'll start dripping some information when we get it.
Exactly. As soon as we solidify some of that. So
very excited.
Yes. And to our retreaters, like we said before, thank you for joining us. We're so happy that you were able to be there with us for our inaugural one.
It was so special that everybody took that leap of faith with us, because you truly don't know what you're going to get at that point. You have no basis for what is going to happen or who we are other than this.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for trusting us. And thank you for filling our house.
Right.
And letting us know that you are interested in more.
Agreed.
Because that's really like what it's all about for us. It is. We love building the community. So
we did love it, and we do love it, and we'll continue to do it, because I will tell you, this has just invigorated me to be like, there's more. There's so many ideas.
Yes,
let's go.
We can do more.
Yeah. RIP to my Google Docs and all of my ideas that I'm about to put in them. Sorry.
Oh, yep. We're going to fill that storage real quick.
That drive's going to be full.
Yeah. So great.
So until we leak details, we'll see you on the next episode. And
make sure you're subscribed.
Oh, yeah.
Subscribe in 25.
In 25.
So you know, clicky.
Exactly. All the buttons. Make sure, like, there's a little bell notification thing. So when you get, when we drop a new episode on Monday, it'll pop up next time you open YouTube. So do that thing.
Yeah.
And
because who knows, we might talk about it here first. And then leak it on socials. You never know. You never know what order this is going to happen in.
Okay, the chaos is
real.
real.
We don't even know.
The chaos is real. It's fine.
That's what we do.
I like it.
We support the chaos.
Exactly. So until next time, happy reading. It was great to have you join us for today's chat. If you'd like to continue the conversation, provide a recommendation, or simply say hi, pop over to Instagram at wine.read.wine, or leave us a comment on our YouTube channel. We'll see you on the next episode. Happy reading!